So I got the day off today because of all the rain here, and I don't know, I think it was kind of divine because a lot of paths are being crossed with other addicts or people that are, in a relationship or family of an addict, and oh man, it brings me back. It really puts me in place and in perspective of those days when I was just completely hopeless and in utter desperation for a way out. The good news is that there is a way out, and though I don't work a perfect program, and I'm not a perfect example of recovery. I don't know if there is one, but I do know it works because it's been 4.5 years since I last got high, and if you had taken me back to that day before I went into detox, which wasn't my last use, I snuck heroin into detox. That's how insane I was. And then I got out of detox, and obviously they kicked me out. But I had a divine moment where I had a choice to make, and it was kind of like, should I just go back out into the streets of Nashville until the bitter end, or am I gonna do what it finally requires of me? And my mom came. They called and told her that I had gotten kicked out for sneaking in heroin and getting high with a couple other patients. And I took off. I didn't even want to deal with her, so I was walking down the streets of Nashville, didn't have any money, didn't have a cell phone, and I was just like, what am I even doing? My mom pulls up. She went looking for me frantically, yells at me to get in the car. I get back in the car. We go back to the next door, which is where I got kicked out of, and get my belongings, whatever. And then she's just crying this whole time. The people at the next door were like, hey, we've got her set up to go to this other 30-day program if she wants to go. So my mom basically just put the address in the navigation and was going to take me to it would have been my 26th 30-day program at that time. And we're like already on the interstate, and I tell her to turn around. And of course, her first thoughts are like, are you really going to get out? Are you really going to walk out on me and your son and do this again? And, she's like, what do you mean turn around? I said, turn around, call the people at the Hope Center, it was a long-term program that I had heard about from my ex who went in himself and had been praying for me to show up for 3 months. And of course, she whipped the car around faster than anything because she couldn't believe that I was agreeing to go to a long-term treatment program, because for the longest time I refused due to the fact that I had been through Teen Challenge as a minor. I did 16 months there, and before I ever even touched a drug, and they fucked me up so badly that I just could not, even, which was stupid because I was an adult, and if they were going to abuse me, I could leave at that point, whereas when I was a minor, I didn't have that choice. But whatever. Long story short, I was finally had enough willingness in that moment to go to long-term treatment. And that was the first day of what's been an amazing journey. That was the last day I got high. That was on July 5th, 2015. I went into treatment on July 6th at the Hope Center. And I haven't looked back since. And I just want to say, like, it did take getting out of the world for a while for me. It's an 8-month program. I did 10 months, and then I stayed on a little bit longer than that to work too, just because I kind of felt like I needed closer to a year before I kind of went back out into the world, just to set up that foundation, and then when I got out, I got extremely involved in meetings and in church, and I had to build a new support system because I was in a completely different city, when I got clean. And so I moved an hour and a half back home and had to reestablish that kind of network. And I've found an amazing AA community where I live, so I'm very fortunate for that. But I don't really know where I'm going with this. I just want to say, like, it is possible. For so long, I thought that there wasn't a way to get free from heroin and free from just all that pain. I had so much pain from my past and pain from, my addiction and things, so much shame that comes along with that, I was in bondage, spiritual bondage, and I didn't see a way out, and everybody I knew that was on heroin was either dead or they were in prison. I didn't have a single person at that time that I could say, hey, they made it, so maybe I can too, which was the basis for me starting this life after heroin project, kind of living out in the open, which brings a lot of risks for me, as far as, the stigma that's still out there, career-wise. People could be like, oh, she's a heroin addict, look how she's out here, openly talking about that to everybody. She wouldn't be a good representation of our company, whatever, but it's worth it for me because you can't keep what you don't give away anyways, but also, because I just want to spread some hope. And I haven't done that perfectly. There's a lot that I've been running from on this calling that God's placed in my life, because I've been focused more on me not being good enough than God being more than enough to fulfill his purpose with whatever broken vessel he chooses. And if that's me, it's me. If it's you, it's you. We all all have a purpose and a plan for us. So we all play a part. But there is hope. That's all I wanted to say today, that there is hope. If it's a loved one that is struggling, and you're on the other end, I highly recommend getting into Al-Anon. Get yourself a support system, and never underestimate the power of prayer, because I truly believe that my mother's prayers is what kept me alive long enough to get me to the point where I was willing to get clean for myself. And if you're the one that's struggling, you don't have to have all the answers. You literally just have to take a step. And that step today might just simply be going to the nearest AA meeting, or the nearest Heroin Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, whatever meeting you choose. If it's a 12-step program, then I highly suggest that you get there and that you talk to some people. So yeah, I love you all. Keep sending me your messages. I'm praying for all of you, and I'll do whatever I can to be a friend and a support on your journey. All right. Happy New Year, guys.